Welcome back, Nick Lenz Comic Corner, Classics as Non-Classic. This is episode number 1158 and Doubleshot number 1052. Now, this is going to be the first of 6 videos in a row I'm going to do today. Because after this one, I'm going to do a review for my review for the newest chapter of Attack on Titan and then One Piece. And after the 3 videos are up, I'm going to do the first video for Quintessence Templates, then the 2 manga chapter reviews for One Punch Man and Blue Exorcist. This one I'm discussing something, okay? Now, before I discuss what 2 trades, now, it's basically the second and third volumes of Green Arrow. Now, first we had, for this volume of Green Arrow, we started out with this, Midas Touch, which was an okay book. It's not terrible. It's written by good people, good writers, and had good work on it. Yeah, this was an okay start for the book. But not in the case of these 2 books. Oh no, we're going to discuss the 2 books that collect Innocenti's 10-issue run for the book. Oh my god, this book was awful during Innocenti's time in the book. I mean, this is worse than her Catwoman run. At least that had at least she had a pretty good idea what she was doing. Yeah, probably write a really bad Catwoman book. This was just awful. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. There was some good stuff in here, but wow, these 2 trades were so bad. First up, we have Volume 2, Triple Threat. Now, these books do have good artwork. The artwork is inconsistent to every issue. But my gosh, these issues, there are exactly 7 issues in this trade. And you have at least 6 different artists, like 7 different artists who draw these 6 issues. You have Harvey Tillabo, Freddie Williams II, which actually is a really good artist, Steve Kurth, Wayne Fisher, Rob Hunter, Art Turbert, and Tom Durank. At least the cover art's really good. Yes, the cover art just showed you that's a Howard Porter cover. Yep. Okay, what is the story for this particular trade? Okay, the whole thing with Triple Threat is that Green Arrow runs into 3 blonde women, which she decides to briefly run away with to some other country to do some random thing. Yes, this feels like a series of random events featuring Green Arrow. It does not feel like Green Arrow at all. I mean, that was the biggest problem I had with these issues, is that I didn't feel like it was Green Arrow comic. I will be discussing Volume 2. There's actually one good issue in that trade that relates to a crossover that DC was doing at the time, which in my opinion helped save the book, and probably had DC realize though, yeah, putting Innocenti in this book was a terrible idea. That or the fact that we actually had a terrible editor on the book. Yes, the Triple Threat. We have Green Arrow going out with 3 random blonde women who are basically triplets who he decides, okay, the thing starts off with Green Arrow coming back from a night of basically doing patrolling. He spends time with Oliver Queen, where apparently he voids all responsibilities as the CEO of Queen Industries. He basically has the Queen Corps thing. That was the thing that this run had, was the Queen Corps. Don't know what it is. It's some kind of electrical thing. Yeah, and apparently it's, Tech Question got to know me, so like it's like he doesn't want to take any responsibility, and then it's like, and he talks to one guy named Ellsman who actually this character return for Ben Percy run for the Rebirth book. Yeah, where he got killed. Yeah, Ben Percy had killed him probably because he was useless. Yeah, like, hand off some stuff to him, but the company's still mine, and apparently the company's losing money, and he was also offered to join a celebrity card game. Sparkle game, which, interesting to say the least, it's only like 1 issue. Yep, and the thing is, he goes off on his jet and has himself a 4-way with all 4 of these women. Like, wow, lives a good lifestyle, being a playboy. Oh, in case you're gonna ask though, is Black Canary anywhere in this book? Nope, because DC kept these 2 far apart for 5 years. Yes. From the period of 2011 to 2016, Green Arrow and Black Canary were kept so far apart that these 2 never met until Green Arrow Rebirth number 1. That was the first time these 2 ever met in this continuity. Now, I'm not sure whose idea was it to do that, because when you think of Green Arrow and you think of his many different love interests, and you think of it like him being with, people think of Black Canary. That's his girlfriend or wife, as pre-Flashpoint gave us. But no, we have to keep him far away from a smoking hot blonde woman. And I guess Anderson, oh yeah, look, a blonde woman who is clearly not the Black Canary. It's just some random woman that Oliver Queen just happens to sleep with. And then their two women disappear for some reason. Oh, and by the way, these three women contribute nothing to the story. They have cool suits, and then the two of the women disappear for no explained reason at all. And then he's with another one of the three women. He sleeps with her again, and then she disappears, and she's never mentioned again. He fights some chalk-skinned villain who looks like a Bloodshot ripoff. Like, wow. It's like, ugh. Like, reading this, it's like, oh, yeah. Like I said, this book is just awful. Like, you want to see some interior artwork. Okay, I'll show you some interior artwork if I can get this thing to move. Okay, here's some interior artwork. This is done by Harvey Talbot. This is how he draws Green Arrow. It's an okay look for him. Yeah, I know it's kind of a glare, but yeah, that is Green Arrow. It's not bad, yes. And look, here's the three random blonde women. Just cuz. Yep. He just randomly one of these women. Who, by the way, are terrible hiding their face. Like, oh, let's have them take off their masks. Oh yeah, with their three triplets. Who Green Arrow is infatuated with. Just cuz. Yes. Though for some reason, I'm not really sure why this is. Apparently, the artist thought basically the way Green Arrow looked when he was Oliver Queen was to make him kind of look like John Constantine. No joke. If you make a chance to read this issue, tell me this does not look like John frickin' Constantine. Yeah, it's like he draws and look almost exactly like him. I have no idea why the heck this was. And yeah, this is not that good of a book. And yeah. Now, I don't really get a... Now, you could probably guess the reason why. There were so many artists. There were at least 7 artists doing these 6 issues. My theory is that we had editorial interference. Yes, that's probably the reason why, like, look, let's say Harvard Tubman. He's on this book for, like, let's see, I think he's in the book about 3 issues. Yep, 3 issues, and I think that's it. Let's see here. If I can find the next issue here. Yeah. Yep, 3 issues, and then hand out to Steve Kurth. Wayne Fisher is the inker. Yeah. Yep, that's the simple gist of it. Now, the artwork, I give that one a 9 out of 10. It's a fantastic artwork. The story, like I said, feels like a series of random events. And I give the book itself, well, mainly the story, a 2 out of 10. It is just so awful to read. Then we come to a book, and we come to Volume 3, Harrow, which I'm not really sure why this is. I mean, if you look at this cover and the way his face looks, he kind of looks like the original actor who played Green Arrow on Smallville. Yeah, I have no idea why the heck that he's drawn like this. This book, surprisingly, collects the last 3 issues of Anderson's run, 14, 15, 16. It also collects, get this, and you basically be shocked the fact what else this book collects. It also collects issue 0, which that's not surprising. People probably could be wondering, like, why in the world was not collected in the second volume? Because that was the thing when it comes to issue 0. A lot of the second volumes for a lot of these series, for the New 52, issue 0 was generally collected in the first trade. It usually collected in the second trade. This one by far is the only one I can think of, actually one of 2 I can think of, where issue 0 is not in the original, it's not in the second volume, it's put in the third volume. The only book I can think of that did this was Aquaman. Because generally all issue 0s are put in volume 2. Yeah, this book also collects issue 14 of Savage Hawkman, and Justice League number 8, and 13 from Jeff Johns. Like, if you look at the writers of this thing, like, oh my gosh, it is like so freaking much. Aside from Ann Nocenti on the third volume, we have Rob Liefeld, Frank Tieri, Jeff Johns, Judd Winnick, and Jeff Lemire. And a boatload of artists for this one trade alone. Freddie Williams second, main artist, along with Rob Hunter, Joe Bennett, who is the artist currently for Mortal Hulk, Joe Jensen, Art Turbert, Wayne Fritcher was probably the inker. Robin Reagans, Carlos Nina, Ivan Reyes, great artist. I think he's on Superman. He was resourced for Superman. Joe Burrito, Brad Walker, really good artist. And Drew Hensey. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot to mention that Volume 2 ended with probably by far the best cliffhanger you could have to end that volume. Green Arrow flying to the city, basically swinging on the city with his trusty arrow, and running into frickin' Hawkman. In the middle of the Hawkman wants a crossover. Yep, that's why he's here, because Hawkman has come to Seattle. Now you're thinking, wait, Green Arrow is based out of Star City, why is he in Seattle? Now, the theory I have is, now there's a couple reasons why I think. One, because I think DC editors really want to base it out of a real city, not a fictitious city that he's based out of for years, despite the fact he's been heavily associated with Star City for years. As a matter of fact, if you read his third volume by Kevin Smith and Judd Winnick, he's based out of Star City, not Seattle. Though the second volume, he's based out of Seattle. This is just my personal theory why they based it out of Seattle. The reason being, and this is just my personal theory, is because somebody must have liked Mike Groh's run for Green Arrow, so have him based in Seattle instead of Star City for some reason. And yeah, Star City does make an appearance in this volume in one issue, in issue 0. Yep, we have appearance by Tommy Merlin. Yep, from the Sherry TV show Arrow. Just cause. Now, Hawkman Wanted, oh my gosh, this was so freaking good. If you don't know what the Hawkman Wanted was, it's a fantastic story of like Hawkman on the run from Thanos. It's basically like a cross between Green Arrow, Savage Hawkman, and Deathstroke. Yes, freaking Deathstroke got involved in this crossover because his suit at the time had end metal in his suit. Green Arrow got involved mainly because Hawkman came to Seattle for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah, and him gets involved in the story, which was so interesting. But here's the strange thing when it comes to Hawkman Wanted. There is not a single trade that collects the entirety of this crossover. Which you're probably asking a question. Nick, why is it like that for? I have no freaking idea. Because that was a thing when it comes to DC Comics. Though at least this one actually have another part of the crossover have one single part. Yeah. Yeah, like for example, some other crossover DC did throughout the New 52. Now my guess is the reason why they did this was because a lot of Red books are having crossovers at the very same time, though at least Night of Elves was the best one. Because the other ones felt complete random at best. Like here's one for you. Resurrection Man and Suicide Squad. Or I think it was like Firestorm. And I think like Justice League International. It was really weird. Yeah. But those felt like random crossover DC just had to have. Or the freaking culling. This was great. And Green Arrow felt like an actual part. It felt like an actual Green Arrow book. Yeah, it felt like it was really fun. And then as soon as you wrap up the whole thing with the Hawkman Want This stuff, hey look, oh crap, we're back to Anna Sensi. But looking at it for 2 issues called The Fall of Green Arrow. Which when I read it again, I'm like, and they do mention, now here's the strange thing. They mention Just Like America in the trade. In these issues, yeah. It's like Green Arrow's told by Amanda Waller, either fix this up or send in Just Like America, which is basically a team he's on. So, my personal guess is that these 2 issues probably take place after the opening arc of Just Like America. Yep, they probably do. And they were okay. They were slightly better than the triple threat issues. Oh gosh. These felt a little better per se. And then like they wrap up that, and then after the 0 issue, which that was not done by Innocenti. Nope, that's done by Judd Winnick. Why the heck he decided to do an issue 0 for Green Arrow, I have no idea. And then right after this, we had Justice League number 8. Now, this felt completely random to throw this in this trade, both Justice League number 8 and 14. 8, my guess is the reason why I threw this in, because Green Arrow guest stars in the issue. And they probably threw that in just so this trade can sell. Like, oh, we have Justice League number 7 again. Cool. An issue written by Jeff frickin' Johns, who is a damn good writer. And it just basically, Green Arrow said he really wanted to join Justice League, and Justice League turned him down. 14 was simply just an aftermath issue. It's just basically a few pages. It's just Green Arrow's appearance in the issue. It's only just a few pages. It's just there just to be a backdoor pilot to Justice League America title, which means that takes place before the events of issues 14 and 16. What do I give Green Arrow Volume 3? Now, I gave Volume 2 a 2 out of 10. This book I give a 7 out of 10. This is a heck of a lot better trade than the Triple Threat issues. And, yeah. Now, does the book get better after Ed Vicente leaves? Does this answer your question? Jeff Lemire takes over the book with the very next issue, which he had a fantastic run in the book, which I will be discussing. There's actually one trade I don't own for Jeff Lemire's run, and that's Outsiders War. That book I'll be discussing 2 videos after this one for the Comic Corner, because that's going to basically go back to physical trades. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. My next review is going to be a review of Attack on Titan. Yep. See you in the next video. Bye.